You are here listening to one of the most beautiful humans that has been in my life for around 4 years now. And I'm super excited to introduce you to Tamara. So welcome, beautiful.
Hi, babes.
It's such a pleasure to have you on here. And I cannot wait to dive into all the juicy goodness and chat about the 4 years it has been for us, from where we started to where we are now. What a bloody journey.
I know, I can't even tell. Has it been 4 years or 40 years? It feels like ages.
Right? So to kick off each of my episodes with my special guest, I get you to answer 5 questions. How well do you know me?
Yeah, bring it on.
I know. I had to really think about these ones because I was like, wow, there's not much you don't know about me, but like, let's see what your attention to detail is like. Let's see how diligent you really are, babe.
All right.
So for every single one that you get correct, I will be donating $10 to the Epilepsy Foundation.
Oh, okay, beautiful. Let's do this.
All right, my love. So first question, what is my go-to cocktail?
Oh, come on, man. Oh, God. We've been out drinking like 2 times in 5 years together. It has to be strong. It has to be, oh my, like, I don't know why I'm like fruity, but is it a gin? It's not vodka. I up on this, babe. I'm sorry. Give like, what is it?
Next question, what do I get overly excited for?
Oh, life, your girls, waking up at 3 a.m. You get excited when the sun comes up and you get to walk on the beach. You get excited about doing your just being with your girls, like them motivating you, you motivating them. Like that just gives you so much excitement and so much happiness. And I mean, you cannot pinpoint one thing on that with you.
Love that. What am I currently working on personally?
Let's see. So personally, so not career-wise, I would say you are mentally working on yourself. You are expanding on your growth and you're working on who you're surrounding yourself with personally, because that will reflect on you, your mood, and I get that 100%. And you know what, physically as well, I've seen you so, like, you're doing so much, and you've actually changed the way that you were telling me you've changed the way that you were working yourself physically as well. Like what you and I were doing like 18 months ago, some of it's like no longer relevant, and you're really pinpointing, okay, you know what can I actually learn from that and how I can put that into your life.
What is my nan's name?
I met her too on FaceTime. Oh,
Oh my gosh.
oh my God, I'm so sorry, Grandma. I met you, like we've chatted, and I feel so. Now move on.
You had one job.
Don't do this.
Oh my God, next question. What is something I cannot stand?
Okay, parking tickets.
Oh my God, yes.
That parking tickets. I think like watching you kind of go through, like, I think more career wise, you can't stand someone that puts themselves down. Like I remember constantly when I used to be like, oh man, I'm bloated, I feel like shit, I feel yuck, and you're just like, babe, get your ass off the floor, go do some fucking sit-ups or something. Like I've seen you, like you actually, like you take that in personally, and you cannot stand it when someone's like, nah, ew, don't like myself, I feel yuck.
Let's go to the answers. So my go-to cocktail is a coconut margarita. So my taste buds have changed. I do love a bit of tequila these days.
Oh, that's not fair.
But okay. With that being said, I do not remember the last time I had one of those because I've not been drinking like at all. So interesting. What do I get overly excited about? I think you named pretty much every single one of them, but something that does come to mind when I get asked this question is when I see my girls and I'm FaceTiming, like the first thing I'm just like, hell yes, hello, what have you been doing? Like I get so overly excited that, you know, if you were an introvert, you'd be like, can't stand her. I'm currently working on trusting my intuition. That's what I'm working on personally. And yeah, it's really going new levels. My nan's name is Lorraine.
Okay. Hi, Lorraine. Sorry, Lorraine. I'm going to keep saying it. times.
That is going to be trademarked on you now. And something I cannot stand, yes, you're so right, with a few things that you said, people putting themselves down and all that sort of thing, which, you know, as well, I put myself down. I've got to call myself out for it. But another thing I can't stand is people that are really closed-minded and they're not open to growth. That's what really grinds my gears. So, you know what, babe? I'm just going to go like brownie points for all of them except for my nan's name. That is like a -1. I am keeping you on your toes, babe, and I have since day dot. And that is something that I want. That's where I want to start the podcast, is chatting about our first ever session and where I was in life and where you were in life. So, babe, I'm going to let you explain how the turn of events came for you, and then I'll explain my side of the story.
Okay, so my side of the story was I just remember this like shift in mind where I was like, you know what, I think it's time to work on myself. And I think I was in between jobs, and I remember sitting at home. I was by myself. I had my dog Maya, like she was sitting right there, and I just went, you know what, let's do some research. So I hopped online and I got in touch with another trainer who passed me on to you. And I reckon between contacting her and meeting you was literally a week or not even. And I remember your first email to me, and it was literally the like excitement and exclamation marks.
Exclamation marks for me.
Exclamation marks. It's like, yeah, Tamara, so excited to meet you. And I'm like, all right, this chick's got energy. I love it. So I knew that I wanted to work out. For me, it was all about the space of it. And we chose Elwood. I wanted to be closer to the beach. We were currently building a house there. So I just wanted I wanted to put my energy into being next to the water. I don't know what it was. I just wanted to be drawn there. So you and I had our first ever PT at Elwood Beach, which I think is freaking unique, to be honest. I mean, how often can people say that?
Literally.
And I remember meeting you, and I think we actually hugged. Like, it's like as if we'd been talking for ages. We were so excited. We hugged each other. You, or was it me? Was it me?
This will be good.
Running half an hour late. Someone was late.
You were late.
I was late.
You were late.
I was late. Because I didn't take into consideration traffic, half an hour. And I felt so bad. I remember I had to pull over, message you being like, Brie, I'm so sorry. And you were so patient. Yep, cool. Let me know when you're here. Because I was so worried that obviously, like with trainers, you know, you guys have got a routine. And we went out, like once we kind of quickly chatted, hi, how you going? We had the same energy. We were both pumped. And I remember, and I love the fact that you were my age. Like you weren't, you know, I didn't feel intimidated by you as well. Like I was just like, I love her energy. It's like, I'm ready to do this. And I think our first session we did was boxing.
Yeah.
You made me run laps.
Hey, I ran them with you.
You did. Oh my God. It was actually, we were so lucky with the weather, and I loved the fact that we did boxing. And I think was as well, we were kind of chatting just about ourselves. Like I was learning about you, you were learning about me. And that was my first ever PT ever. Like,
wow.
It was just like, oh my God. It was like, felt like it was yesterday.
Literally. And I feel like because it feels like yesterday, I also remember so much about it. Like I remember the conversation I was having with one of the girls at the time that was kind of like a friend that was kind of like mentoring me in this PT space, because I hadn't even had Indie Active up for like 1 year. No, we hadn't quite made it to 1 year. And I was contracting with this other girl on Bayside in Melbourne, and she was like, oh, I've got a job for you. And I was like, amazing. And that was your inquiry. And so I was like, amazing. Like, I can't wait to meet this girl. Anyway, actually, you were supposed to go through another trainer, but she couldn't do it. So then I picked it up. And yeah, and I remember messaging this other trainer being like, oh, she's late. Like, what do I do? Because she was mentoring me through like this time of like how to actually hold a PT session, and she was like, just make sure you stand your ground and make sure, you tell her that it's not going to happen again, and make sure you only do like the hour of PT. And to me, that just didn't feel right. I was like, nah, like it's her first session. I love this chick. I'm going to give her a full hour of my love and attention. And I think because of that, when there was like a pivotal stage there where you're like, oh, I just don't know if I can keep doing PT because I'm going between jobs. And I was like, well, how about we like ditch this middleman and like you just come under my wing and I'll just keep training you with my rates. And like that was so dodgy on my behalf. But now I look back, I'm like, that was the best thing I ever did. And I really do remember it because, I made you skip as well. And I'm like, oh, she doesn't like skipping. I shouldn't make her skip. And like, there was so much going around in my head. And remember the footballers that rocked up as well? And there was like the Hawthorn team or the Collingwood team rocked up at Elwood.
They were all started working out at that gym equipment section. And I'm pretty sure I was like in the middle of doing laps. And then we kind of just started slowly jogging around.
I'm like, should we just like walk this part?
Just do stretches, but just hover over there.
Literally, I still remember it clear as day. I still remember the footy players, everything. And then, fast forward probably like a month or two ahead, I was organising the Indie Active's first birthday competition. And I got like all my favourite brands together. Like at the time, it was Lululemon and Emma and Tom's and my beautician, Christine. And had all of this like massive goodies and giveaways, and you won it.
I won it. I was at my cousin's house when you pulled the name out of the hat, because you kind of did it in like stages. So you kind of did like the finalists and then the last ones. And I remember watching it, and I was at my cousin's house and he pulled out my name and I just went, what just happened?
I remember doing that live clear as day. It was like with my ex at the time, who I was like obviously so invested with. And then I went through that like massive breakup and you were there for me, like,
Yes, we started going to gym in Hawthorn. And that's when you told me about it. And I had this energy from you. I felt like when you said hi, I was like, no, something's up. And then, that's when you told me. And that was kind of like our real first talk, because that was on the personal side. Like it wasn't professional. Like we put that professional side away for a sec and just kind of, met on that level. And that was nice. That was like, wow, she's not just my trainer. She's actually my best friend.
Mm-hmm. And she's human.
Human. She's not a robot with protein in her.
Telling me to eat rice and chicken. And like that was like another massive thing with our journey as well. Like you've been there since day dot, like grassroots, like literally grassroots, even like, from being in Elwood at the park to then moving into the gym in Hawthorn to then, COVID hitting in 2020 and we went online. And, we were even doing some stuff in my backyard there at one point during lockdown. And like online was so much fun. Like we're doing FaceTimes. Before then, obviously we both evolved. You stepped into this new exciting life of being a cafe owner, getting engaged, buying a house, and I'm like, just put me on the back burner.
Excuse me, I think you might need to tell someone how involved you are in my wedding.
How about you, my love?
Yes, this little miss over here is going to be one of my bridesmaids. I asked her when she came down to Melbourne. Was it for Christmas? No, it was Christmas time, because I got engaged in November and you came down to see your fam for the Christmas period. So about a month later, I asked her, but it wasn't more like, it was funny because I didn't even have to think about it. I said, yeah, I know Bree's going to be in it. I know I've got my sister, I've got my other girls. So you're going to be one of 6 standing next to me in a gorgeous dress.
I'm loving all of this. Like, honestly, it's going to be one of the most special days. And I still, again, it's like all of our like milestone moments, I remember so freaking clearly. Like when you FaceTime me and showed me your ring, like I knew exactly where I was. Like, actually, I was in the bathroom at a brewery, wasn't I?
Oh, mate, you were dressed up with mate.
And then like I was like crying, and then like I came out to like with one of my best friends at the time, and one of my mates, and they're like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Oh my gosh, Tamara just got engaged." And oh my gosh, from there it was just, yeah, it's just escalated, hasn't it, babe? Like, how did and one of the things so funny, one of the worst pieces of advice that I ever got with business was someone told me never get emotionally invested with your clients.
That's like, I don't even know how people can be like that. I mean, I can understand there are trades where if you don't want to bring your work home, but you literally live with your work. Like you can't, like you, it's not like you can't escape it, but it's like it's around you always. Like I don't know how you
Literally.
can't be invested.
Exactly. And like, even with the journey that we've been on, it's like you need to know what's going on in someone's life to understand why they have like these behaviors and why they're acting out like this. Like if you were to just shut that off, then what sort of example are you setting? But rather, if you can be vulnerable, then it's giving them the invitation to also be vulnerable. And I feel like that is how you build such a strong foundation, plus a friendship, which is going to be lifetime.
Exactly. Like it's not just a client that you just toss aside once you finish your hour with them and then you got to move on to the next one. Like it's just, you're doing a journey with them, which means you have to be involved with them emotionally, and watching them grow. Like you generally have to care about your work and your client. Yeah. I don't understand people that just can't.
Literally. But the other thing as well with all of this journey, babe, you've literally been one of my biggest supporters, my number one. And big hearts. And I mean, from moving to the online space where then I took Indie Active full time to, my retreats, like the first one was meant to be in 2020 in Bali, like you were coming to that.
Yes, we were committed to it. We were ready to go, you and I. And we just, no, it's going to happen. No, it should be fine. It should be fine. Next thing you know, we're doing FaceTime during lockdown for like a year.
And we're still like, yeah, it'll be right. It'll be right.
Fine. Yeah, what do you mean? What's COVID? No, it's fine.
She'll be right. It'll blow over tomorrow. I'm like, yeah, righto.
Yeah. But
massive.
I'm kind of grateful for that year that we did because I bought so much equipment. I remember like really learning about what I enjoy enough to, because I remember posting about creating this new gym just because of our FaceTimes. Like I told Mum, I reckon if it wasn't for Brie, we would not have gym at home at all.
I love that. Yeah, and can you like describe your gym, because your gym at home is freaking amazing.
God, I know it's funny because the house, when we built the house, it was actually in the floor plan that it was going to be a gym. Because me and Mum were very involved in that. Mum not so much anymore, but we put a big mirror on one, like, so it's just, it runs from one wall to the other. And then on the other end, we have a treadmill. We had a bike that you and I used to do my warm-ups on. You messaged me like 5 minutes before our session, babe, hop on the treadmill.
Get on the bike. We want to make the most of this hour. You're like, I'm already on it.
Yeah, I was. And I would have you sitting like right up against the room. So you would have view of all my equipment. And I bought dumbbells from like 1 to 10 kilos. I bought
kettlebells, booty bands.
And then towards the end, I think when we started to go more into strength training, I bought a barbell that I think we went up to 60 kilos with that. And that's we were doing our bench presses, we were doing our hip thrusts, and we got to a point where we were doing it every single day for an hour. So I reckon we were doing 5 to 6 hours a week.
Yeah, we had a really good split going on, didn't we? It was like upper, lower, posterior.
Yeah, I just, like, during lockdown, what else was there to do? And the thing is, it was keeping me mentally healthy because I was talking to someone else. I was seeing friends in a way that, yes, it was virtual, but it was better than nothing. The mental effect of it was just as important as the physical. Gave me abs.
Gave you abs. Healthy abs. And I mean, like, that was such a pivotal stage as well, like for Indie Active, was going from the gym to online. And, with your support, just your trust in me allowed me to do that. And I think as well, like, Indie Active wouldn't be where it is today without your support. Beautiful. You're like a walking, breathing ambassador of IA.
Like, sharing this.
All right. I love it. And I mean, as well, he got involved with my second business, BR, before I merged it to Indie Active. So my mentoring with my 3-day event, which I touched on, like emotional intelligence and what else did I do on those other days? Goal setting, self-care and self-love.
And then you start to bring in mentors. So we would have like an hour session of them chatting, and we would all be taking notes. It was like school.
I literally had my whiteboard and I was like, everyone use the chat box.
Office, you had the whiteboard and you had the markers and you were just like bloody arrows, and I love how
going on everywhere. I mean, nothing's really changed. I still love getting like my drawing on. I feel like I just take advantage of that whiteboard because we're all visual well, most of us are visual learners, and I feel like I can articulate myself a lot better when I'm drawing and being able to like be creative. I'm like such a nerd in that aspect.
we're watching your mind just kind of like flow. And I think we were all like making notes, and we were all giving you feedback because we were doing it on like a big Zoom chat. So we we're all kind of like typing like, yes, Brie, oh yeah, I love that. Yeah, cool. Oh, can you say that again? You know, like it was a genuine classroom of love.
I love it. I really want to go back to that. Like I definitely will. Like I'm going to be running 3-day masterclass in October, and I really want to touch on this again, like the 3 main concepts, but in more of a coaching aspect than a mentoring aspect. And I'm so excited for it because I'm like, I've done it before, it was a huge hit, it was really successful, and now I only know so much more in that 12 months of like learning and developing that I'm like, this is going to be epic. So yeah, you were there for that, babe. You were also there for all of my like awkward as phases where, you know, I kind of went down the rabbit hole of being like really rebellious and wanting to party and hanging out with like people that were just not good for my soul.
Yes. I do recall this.
Let's keep it PG.
I'm keeping it PG, mate. All I'm saying, it kind of got to a point where it's like, as a friend, you kind of tell yourself, do you tell them what you're seeing from your end, like, or do you kind of say, no, you know what, they're living their life, let them do what they want to do? So I was kind of like, I was in that little in between, but no, we chatted about it, and the thing is, you kind of learned from some mistakes, I learned from my mistakes, and it's just, we just watched each other kind of just grow, and yes, had a few awkward.
So beautiful. Literally, it's so beautiful though as well, like, you know, with a lot of friends, normally it's at like a lot of judgment that you get, right? But from you, it was very much like, I can see where you're going. If you need help, let me know. Like, you're really compassionate about it. And I mean, like, I look back now, I'm like, as if you just didn't like tell me to sort my shit out. Like, what is happening? But
I had to catch an Uber by myself because he kept partying at the Albion. And I was just like, is this chick for real?
She knows how to party.
I was ready to go home. It was like 2 a.m. I'm tired. This chick's still going. See you, Brie.
That was wild. That was my birthday, wasn't it?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, well, I'm glad I got all that out of my system. I feel like I have, and I'm glad I have because it doesn't serve me anymore. But I mean, I loved as well was it our first or second year that we went to the conservatory?
I'm thinking that was our that wasn't. Oh, could have been the first year.
I actually reckon it was our first year because it was. Because I was still in Melbourne. I was actually in Kew. I was staying in Kew.
Yes, that was where you were house sitting.
Yes, that's right. Oh my gosh. As if that was only a year.
It was, yeah, it definitely was. I remember because it was in January, we had the good weather, and I kind of go off my hair length as well, because I remember cutting my hair for Thailand. And then, because I remember that was our big goal when we were at gym, and we just thought, this is our goal for Thailand. And then I came back and it was our 1 year. And I remember coming to your place and we got ready together. We caught an Uber, chatted to the guy who was really friendly.
Yes, that's right. And then ate our body weight in seafood at the conservatory.
Oh my God, we had like 6 rounds.
Yep, that was some of our best work there.
And that's when we took some really sneaky, like, but really good photos.
Always.
You looked good that night. And I've got this really good video of you going up the stairs at the Crown.
That's right.
I
was in my big, long, white jumpsuit. Oh, the days that we have had. And I mean, we've only got so many yet to come. And we'll probably be celebrating, 5 years in January coming, which will be your wedding.
It will be. Well, we actually, because in January, we'll have our 5 years plus my hens at the same time. So I want to make sure that we tick both boxes while you're back here in Melbourne.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Fun.
You bet it's going to be wild. Oh, we've organized some good stuff. Oh, it's so beautiful, babe. But with all of your IA journey, what has been some of your biggest takeaways? And I mean, it's such a broad question because I suppose Indie Active has been all of your wellness, all of your knowledge, but moving forward, what is it that you will always have in you that Indie Active has taught you?
Oh God. Do you know what's funny for me? Because my everyday life obviously is just so full on. It's kind of like the small things that I remember, like it's your voice is in my head when I do particular things every day. Like you're in my head when it says do your 10K steps. I do probably 15 now because of work. Because of IA, I bought an Apple Watch that can actually track my movement, my how much calories I'm losing in terms of like the walking and the jogging, the cardio. I've got little IA voice in my head saying, drink your water, 3 liters minimum, tick off your protein, tick off your carbs, tick off your fats. And you telling me what you're eating is healthy, it's fine. Don't like tell yourself, no, don't eat that, because, just make sure you're eating what you want. You're still enjoying your food and you're still enjoying life. Just don't let it consume you based off, I need to lose weight. Don't let that get to you every single day. My self-love came from IA. Like I think before you, I hated looking in the mirror. I used to whinge about myself. I used to, buy specific clothes so I knew that I would feel better in them. But it's like, you kind of look at that tomorrow then and you just think, God, like I wish IA came into my life earlier, because during those early teen years when you're kind of body hating yourself and I don't want to eat because I want to fit into this dress, and it's like, yeah, okay, that makes sense, well done. But then it's like IA comes along and you're just like, oh, actually, you know what, I can eat what I want, I can do what I want, and just as long as you're kind of looking after yourself, like just take care of yourself. That's it. That's literally the line there. There's no,
Yes.
it's not like a little secret. It's just have fun with yourself, be careful, do what you want. And my lifestyle has changed so much since IA. And then moving forward now with this new career of mine, even though I might not be doing my sessions with you anymore, you're still there with me.
Especially being in your head.
You're all there, no escape. You're in my head.
Yes, I love that. I think as well, it's so important. And I'm so glad you touched on this, my love, because if we're not changing internally, we're not changing anything externally. And a lot of people look for that, right? They look for the next quick fix. They look for the next pill to help them feel good. And it's like, to feel good only happens internally. And if you're always putting yourself down and speaking really negative, then the outcome of that is going to be negative and shit. And something that I've really delved into lately, and I'm glad you said this, is just remembering there's that little girl inside of you. And every time you put yourself down, you're actually putting herself down. And, like that's huge when you can see it in that light, because you wouldn't do that to your best friend either. So why would you do it to yourself?
Exactly. Young Tamara copped a lot of hate in regards to how she looked and how she was feeling. And now it's like, I'm probably more confident than I was ever. And you just think, God, I wish I knew earlier.
Yeah, it's so true, isn't it? And, as well, like when I was talking about the external sources that people look for, they think they need to have the next meal plan or the next fad diet or train endless hours in the gym. And it's really not. It's about feeling good and doing whatever feels good for you, because when you feel good, you're only going to be in alignment with what feels good and you're going to naturally want to do it. And when you do it, then it becomes so freaking juicy that you just want to keep doing it. It's like this healthy cycle. And I feel like you are like the embodiment of that. You don't put yourself down. You are so confident in your body. And I've seen this transformation from you coming to like, not feeling comfortable in your skin to now like fully embracing it, being who you are. And I think because of that, this is like the life that you are living now. Like you've got the cafe, you've got the career, you've got the man, you've got the house. Like it's all coming into reality, right? Like for you, because you are literally always choosing to take radical responsibility for yourself and pulling yourself up and kind of like reparenting yourself in a way.
Oh, definitely. Like I did not imagine this life for me like 12 months ago. Everything shifted for me at the end of last year. And for me, I've noticed a big me physically changing a lot, just due to my lifestyle now. And I reckon I'm the only bride that's not on a diet.
Literally.
I'm so surprised like how my life has been the last 6 months. And you're there, like even though we're not you know, you've got your life, I've got mine, you're up north, I'm down south. Like we've got our own thing going, but we're still there for each other. Like we're still interconnected. And, you know, me calling you at the cafe the other day just to say hi. Like I love having that part of you there with me still.
The connection, the bond, it's beautiful. And I'm glad you spoke about like you I think being the only bride not on a diet, because we all think that when it gets to an event, like, oh, we need to lose all this weight. And it's like, well, if you already had the knowledge and the awareness of how to nourish your body, how to look after it, you wouldn't need a diet. You wouldn't need the next quick fix, right?
This is going from me. I used to have I used to remember how much snacking I used to do. And that used to be my biggest issue with calories. When we were calorie tracking and I wanted to lose weight and I wanted to hit my goal and build muscle, you were really hitting down on me because I kept snacking in between my main meals. And then I would whinge, oh, I'm not losing weight. And you're just like, well, I wonder why.
I'm like, do we need to have this conversation again? I'm like, you can have the snacks, but you just can't have the results as well. I'm like, take your pick, but we can make it work for both, but stop abusing that. Literally. And then it kind of went down the rabbit hole of, okay, but why do you want to snack? Let's look at your lifestyle factors. Let's look at your habits. Let's look at all this. And then that was a whole new rabbit hole in itself, which was all like so worth it. Obviously, looking at it now.
Yeah, it definitely was, because everyone has their snacking moments. And I think that's a guilty pleasure no one wants to let go. Like I'm one of those people that if I'm watching something, I have to be snacking on something, whether it's popcorn, whether it's, you know, chips or, you know, some chocolate. Like it's something that people shouldn't have to give up if they love that so much. But it's just
exactly
keeping that in mind, like that. Just keep it in the back of your head so that if you do wake up next day with a pimple, you know that, oh yeah, that was the chocolate that I ate last night.
Thanks, body. Thanks for reminding me that I just ate a copious amount of sugar. Thank you. And yes, you're so right with that, babe. And something that I do want to emphasize a lot more with my mission is like, if you want the cake, eat the cake. Like it's okay to have the cake, but it really does depend on the mindset you're currently in eating it. Like if you're eating it with all the emotions of stress and guilt and shame, then that's the energy you're putting into your body, right? And that's what you're going to get out. But if you're eating it in like this high vibrational state, like, oh, I just love when I get to eat my cake, like you do, like, you know, I love to eat my snacks with my family when we're watching movies. Like when you're coming from that state of being, it's not necessarily going to affect your body nearly as much, plus your mental health, if you are eating it with a place of love and compassion rather than negativity and shame and guilt, you know.
Any food that I eat now is like you deserve this, because I'm eating, I reckon, half of what I was last year with work.
Yeah. And I mean as well, like, you know, we always deserve to nourish our bodies and fuel it, right? Like that's it's a great point that you've made. And it's looking at it in the sense of I'm nourishing my body as well. Yeah.
Yeah, you're saying thank you to it. Like you're saying, giving me for helping me through the day. You know, I got to help out my customers. I got to run back and forth and just be there. Because the thing is that if I lose energy and I lose that mentality, like that good mentality, then I don't have a career anymore.
Exactly. Like boom. That just set my soul on fire. I'm like, yes, because you know, so many people are like in this space of I don't have time to eat or I don't have time to do this. It's like you saying you don't have time is actually just saying you don't have time for yourself. And like what sort of self-respect is that showing? Plus also the negative impact that it's also having on your other environments, like your relationships, like your work, like your career, like all of these other things. So the more that you can give to yourself in the most positive, healthy ways, the better all of those other aspects of your life are going to be as well.
Yes, exactly.
And before I forget to say, babe, can you just tell the listeners what your cafe name is and where it is?
All right. So my family bought a cafe in Mentone called Truly Scrumptious. Gorgeous, big cafe in a laneway. And we've got this gorgeous indoor-outdoor vibe. And we've been there. We renovated it in February, and we've pretty much been going solid since. and it's just been so much fun. It's you know, we kept the same original menu. We just probably added a few more things. Like Dad added his falafels in the menu because he's like the king of falafel. No joke.
He's just the king in general. He's the best.
Mum is in the kitchen. She makes the muffins and our sweets as well. So we do
Aww.
we do brownies, and you know, we do fresh muffins every day, like different flavors. So she does that 6 a.m. in the morning. Dad does his falafel. He helps me out with you know, the back end of it. So he does the shopping for me, the suppliers, the you know, just you know, the boring paperwork stuff. I do the fun stuff. I'm the face of it. I'm there. Hi, how are you going?
Yeah, you are. This is why it's thriving, because you guys are such the A team. Like seriously, your mum and dad are some of the best humans I have ever met. Like I remember coming to your house for the first time.
Our house, yes, exactly.
And they were so welcoming, and like I just felt like, you know, I was stepping into like literally my family. Like I was just like, oh my gosh, these people are so like beautiful and welcoming and amazing. And your dad cooked a salmon, which is now like that recipe is in the Indie Active recipe book.
Called the I can't remember. I remember you call it the cast salmon recipe. I
Yeah,
think it
and greens, salmon and greens.
and greens, and they no, they're doing so, like we're all doing so well, and it's going great, better than what we ever thought it could. And it's just so funny how like everyone's life has changed because of this cafe. You know, originally it was just supposed to be me, but because it just got so busy and we can't keep up with it, and with the hospitality industry in Victoria is still very understaffed. So I'm so lucky to have mum and dad being there for me, supporting me, doing the stuff that I can't. And it's actually a bonus because when we bought the cafe, I also bought my new house. So I still get to see them every day.
Yes.
You know, I'm attached to them. It's just so funny how if I didn't have this cafe and I moved out, I wouldn't see them. Yeah, just grateful, so grateful.
Oh, babe, you have no idea how much I love seeing your evolution and where you are now, especially with the careers that you were in previously before this. Like we both knew they were all short term, and I was like, can't wait for you to like, you know, because this has always been a big desire for you, as well as doing like your interior design and all that sort of thing. Like your new is always going to be something creative and really beautiful energy about it, and like, bam, hello cafe.
I know the creativity came, like it's so funny because I did study and do interior design work, and that really came into form with this cafe because me and dad kind of put our heads together because he used to be a builder, and so I kind of made the place look pretty and he did the structural side of it. And then now with this cafe, I kind of brought my creativity out of and designed our new menu, our new signage, just rebranding, which I learned a lot from you because I watched you with IA, like how you rebranded it and how like just creates a little ripple effect. Like, oh, once you change your logo, you want to change this, and then you want to do a website, and then you want to, you know, it brings in more customers. And so that's what I've been doing. And recently we got new business cards. And for me, like, even though a customer would be like, oh yeah, it's a business card. For me, it's like, yeah, but it's like my business card.
Right, isn't it so funny? And when you like look at it like that, like honestly, people do like, oh yeah, cool, business card, be like, no, seriously, it's my business card. And like it it goes to show as well, this is a massive thing that I learned, especially having coaches there at one stage in the IA journey, is no one is going to love your business as much as you do. And like it's such a massive eye-opener. Hey, like when you do experience things like that, you're like, no, love it. Like, this is my business. Love it. What do you mean? When you are a small business, you really do have a lot of appreciation and gratitude for other small businesses, because you can see that the amount of work that they put in behind the scenes, and like we're always thinking about it. Like at the end of the day, we are our business. Like, you know, people don't see that.
Exactly. And it's funny because I bought an existing one. So it's not like you know, you did from the ground up. Whereas for me, I bought one that, you know, already had customers, but it was more about just rebuilding it, and just improving on something that, yes, what had such a great history for the last 30 years, but how can I kind of bring it into this time? How can I bring more customers? How can it's just improving on it.
Everything that you've done in the past years has led you up to this moment. You doing all the work on yourself, you leaning into fully embodying who you are, your confidence, your self-esteem, working on your nutrition, your movement, all of that has really landed you here. And, imagine not doing that. Like, you wouldn't have the foundations. And, but because you're so much more of like this goddess now that does take radical responsibility, you have built this empire. You have like built such a success for yourself, and scary to think like this is just the beginning.
Yeah. Oh my God, I know. I did have a customer mention to me, like, "Oh, are you thinking of doing like a franchise and opening up in another suburb?" I said, "Mate, I'm trying to be now." Like, the thing is, I have noticed as well with cafes, when they start to kind of branch out and do more, they're not as involved as what they used to be. So I would love to expand, but I'm doing it at my own pace. As much as
Yes.
customers this and that, it's like, well, I know what's going to work. I have to be here for my cafe, and then maybe one day there will be another one in another suburb. But that just means I have to be equally involved in both. So we shall see.
What advice would you give to your younger self?
Have patience, love yourself, enjoy the small things in life, and be in the now. I was always fast tracking myself, always was thinking about no, but I'll do this. It'll be better next week. It'll be better next year. But I didn't really get to enjoy the small bits.
That's beautiful. What do you do to set your soul on fire?
On weekdays, so when I come home from work and I'm tired and I just want to have my me time. It's so funny. But when I I come home, I put some avocado on some bread, sit and watch Netflix. I am just zen. I am just beyond, like, you cannot talk to me. I am just in my little bubble.
I love that.
Right now, changes every month, but right now that's my little happiness, is just sitting there with my little food, like a little mouse, and just watching TV.
Amazing. Thank you, beautiful. Thanks for jumping on. Is there anything that you wanted to say to the listeners?
Come see me in Mentone. I'll shout you a coffee.
And what a journey it has been, and now for us to finally express it to the world. And to any of those other, young women that are looking to also take the path of wanting to become that better version of themselves, to look for, alternative routes that are going to help them become that version of themselves for the better,
Yes. You're doing such a great job inspiring these women and being there for them, and being just a shadow behind them that's just keeping an eye out and keeping them safe and healthy. Like, you're doing such a great job, and I'm so grateful, because I wouldn't be myself without you. So I love you.
Oh, thank you, beautiful.
And I can't wait to see you by my side next year. It's going to be freaking epic.
It's going to be one of the most magical moments ever. I cannot wait.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
Thank you, beautiful. See you soon.